Hey, Shawnee from SpeedCubeReview.com. So I made a magnetic Waylong GTS. Now, before I get into this, I want to talk about probably something that's a lot of people might be thinking, hey, doesn't Cubicle do this? And yeah, so I want to talk about that first. Oh, and stay to the end because I have one more thing I want to talk about at the end. One thing is that people have been putting magnets in cubes way before then. Just simple YouTube search and you can see a couple people who have already done that, tried that, and done that sort of thing. So the Cubicle didn't invent putting magnets in cubes. Now that's not to say that, what they've done isn't really important because they made it really popular and now a lot of people are doing it and thinking about that because of them. So me putting magnets in the cube, also, this video is not saying, hey, don't buy theirs because look, you can just make it yourself. It's not about that. There's a lot of things already like setting up a cube. There are places like Lubix that they lubed, tensioned, set up cubes, remove flashing, and then Speed Cube Shop did that with their cosmic cubes, and Cubicle does that. So it's not like making a video where I set up my cube and said, hey, look, you don't need other people to set it up for you because you can do it. Having other companies do things like that because they've done it before. They know how things set up. You can trust their judgment because they have experience with it. Maybe you just don't want to be bothered with doing it. So there's a lot of reasons that you might have someone else set it up for you. So that's kind of where I am with the magnetic one. This isn't to say that, this is the reason why you shouldn't buy one that already has magnets in it, but just how I made one myself. So let's get into that now. First off, you need a cube. I chose the Waylong GTS mainly because there's caps, and the caps just come right off. So this makes it much easier to put magnets in because you just take the caps off, put them in, and put them back on. The other thing you're going to need, obviously, is magnets. Now, when I looked around for magnets, I got probably the magnets that make most sense to get, the ones I believe it's called neodymium magnets, also called rare earth magnets. And I have those in here. I use these because obviously it doesn't make sense for me to use my magnetic business card for it. And these are really nice, strong, small magnets. So this is an unopened package of them. When I look to find them, they seem to be, around $5 to $10 for a pack of 50 on either Amazon or other places online. I then went to eBay and there are a lot of places that sold them much cheaper there. I actually thought I paid around $4, but because of the conversion and for currency, I ended up actually paying about $1.25 for 50 of them. And I got 4 packs. So I got about 200 magnets for, $4, $5. Now these ones, this is a big line of 50 magnets. These are 2mm by 4mm magnets. So they're pretty tiny. And I got these size because I didn't think anything bigger would really fit in the cube. And these are quite strong. I mean, there's 50 magnets here and they're just holding themselves up. What I did, and you can see in the video, I basically put 2 of them in. They magnetized together, so I didn't have to hold them in place. And I super glued them in. And then I used where those were to gauge where the rest were. So I put 3 more corner magnets in. From those 3 corners, put in more edges, and just it kind of dominoed until they were all in there. And you need 48 magnets. So how did it turn out? Turned out great. This lines itself up pretty well. It doesn't solve itself. I mean, you can see it's not all the way across. If it's really close, you can see the magnets kind of pull it the rest of the way. But it just feels quite solid, and I can keep it on a little bit looser tensions. Now, I did a bunch of solves with this. It's hard to see exactly where I am in my solves because I've been spending the last 3 weeks doing Rue solves on a Volk, and now I'm doing CFOP solves on a turquoise GTS. But I had pretty decent solves, and my times were pretty close to what they are on average already. My review of how it feels is a lot of what other people have said theirs feels like. Now, I gave this to my wife for her to try as well, and she's not a speed cuber. She actually doesn't really know how to solve a cube, but lots of times she'll pick them up and just see how they feel. And she kind of shrugged it off doesn't really feel that much different, but she said it feels like there's extra springs in there, which I guess is what you want. You want it to feel like it's springy and lines itself up. Now, I'm definitely going to be trying this with other cubes. I'm going to try this with the Volk, and I could see using this at a competition, which I want to address that too. I'd heard people in the past say they brought magnetic cubes to a competition and were told they can't use them. So I was going off hearsay, also because there's no official WCA ruling and on specifically magnets in a cube. And so I was kind of telling people that it might not be legal. It might be up to the judges, but I contacted the WCA and they wrote back saying there's nothing in the rules saying that these cubes are not legal. So they are legal to use as long as it's not making moves on its own, which I don't even see how that really be possible with magnets. But they are legal to use. So I was kind of incorrect in that. I was just going by hearsay. So feel free to make them, feel free to buy them. That's pretty much it. It was really easy to do. I think by the time I put the magnets in, it took me 10 minutes, and that's including time for the glue to dry. When I ordered those ones off eBay, it probably took about 3 weeks for them to get to me, which was less time than it said it was going to take. So if you paid a little bit more, I'm sure you can get them shipped a little bit faster. But yeah, they're the 2mm by 4mm ones, the neodymium or rare earth magnets. So are these the ones that the Cubicle uses? I don't know. And really, I'm not going to get one to compare because that's not the point of this. It's not to compare this one to that other one. Now, if Cubicle wants to send me one to show me, look what we do. This is slightly different. I'm not going to turn it away, but I'm not going to ask them for that because I'm not trying to compete or turn them away. So if you stayed to the end, awesome. There was a video I was planning on making, and I haven't done it yet, but it was about dyeing plastic on cubes. And people have already dyed plastic, like Crazy Bad Cuber did a video where he dyed a stickerless Zanchi into a black one, because back then you couldn't use stickerless, and the plastic in stickerless felt slightly different, whole different story. But it wasn't going to be about doing a specific color, but designs. And if you've ever played disc golf, people have been dyeing discs in disc golf for quite a long time, for over a decade, and we've got crazy spirally ones here, as well as sort of just a marbled pattern. And what I was going to show is how to do that marbled pattern on a cube. And since they're both plastic, I'm sure the dye will take in slightly differently, but I was going to show that. Found out Cubicle's working on dyeing plastics as well, so I just want to kind of put that out there that, that's another thing that has been done, but, they're probably going to make it popular and make it in a big, almost manufactured type setting because they have a lot of workers. Look out for that in the future. I haven't been able to make a whole script and show exactly how I'm going to do it yet, but that's something I will work on later on. So thank you very much. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and as always, stop by speedcubeview.com for more news and reviews.